Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ah, so yes. Hey, Cindy. Good morning. So yeah, welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Thank you so much for being here on this, on at least on a few of us right now. The slightly cool and rainy morning, which is okay. It's okay. We've had some rain this week, which is always a good thing. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Margaret. So yeah, it is yeah, cool and rainy morning, and appropriately, one of the topics we'll kind of get into is the first day of fall. So cheers to all of you. I am definitely supporting my Bones coffee. I wanted to make sure, hey, Nicole, uh, I wanted to get the just like I had last, but the Jack O' Lantern, which is, you guys have seen me have this cup before, but that's the pumpkin spice flavor that Bones Coffee has, and it is amazing, amazing. So I cracked the box open today, since we are finally in fall or autumn, however you prefer to label it as, but or at least for some of us. Nicole, she's in springtime now, so I mean it's going to be different for her. Hey, Carrie, good morning. But yes, this is the Jack O' Lantern pumpkin spice by Bones Coffee, and man, it smells amazing. Taste even more amazing. So hopefully everybody else is doing well. Hopefully you guys had a great week. Uh, a lot kind of went on this week. Oh, thanks, Carrie. I got the sun, which is not out right now. It's quite rainy. Not sure if it is by you, but it is quite rainy by me right now. So it's supposed to end in a couple hours. But good morning, Sharon. But yeah, so hopefully you guys had a good week. Hopefully some of the big things that went on. Obviously, we had the full moon, harvest moon, and then obviously autumn or fall, began for us in the states. So I'm gonna separate that because Nicole, who's watching, she's from South Africa, so their temperatures are completely the reverse. So she's going into spring, so that's a good thing. So I'm gonna call you out, Nicole. That's why I'm doing that. Sorry, I can't get enough of that pumpkin spice flavor. Oh, cool, cool. There you go. So, uh, but yeah, so yeah, hopefully a lot of you, because that was sort of some of the things I wanted to ask. I was kind of curious on some of you. Did you guys have anything? Obviously, we talked about it in the past. When we've had full moons, and depending on what's going on around it, did you have new things happen? Are you finishing up things? Are so I'm kind of curious as to how everybody reacted to this week, because again we had a couple things that just happened, and of course I had things go on. So it's and I'll talk about mine here in just a moment, but mine are going to be a little different. So my experiences, my um gosh, I can't even think of like the good fancy word right now, but uh but it's mine's was different, and there's a reason for it. So but yeah, I'm kind of curious. So, if you guys, I mean, it doesn't matter, even if it might seem like normal, or maybe it was just, like a bad day or something like that you had, you don't have to get details, but you could be like, yeah, I noticed this on this day, and it was just kind of weird, like everything was just, weird, or everything was falling apart, or I mean, because it is a part of it. It all kind of gets together, and you just never know. I mean, I funny thing is, like, yesterday was a pretty decent day, and it's Friday, you me, most of us, we have day jobs, and so, I was coming home, and most of you know that, I live in Ohio, but I work up in Michigan, and so I have, about an hour and 10-minute drive, one way, and Friday. I mean, you want to start that weekend off so bad. So, you're trying to get home, and you're trying to, just start that weekend, get it rolling. And, I get into Ohio, and I'm starting to already see some signs that traffic's backing up, and I'm like, it's still a little early for this, because usually I miss the heart of rush hour. And sure enough, it didn't take, but a few minutes, barely 5 minutes over the border. And I'm like, something's bad. And so I started looking at my maps, and I started, looking up ahead. And sure enough, I see, a thing listed as major accident. And I'm like, I could either sit through it and just kind of inch my way home. I can reroute. But the thing is, that's the gamble, is if you reroute, are you going to truly get home any quicker than if you just inched your way on the same road? That's always the fun part, is trying to guess what's the best way to go about it. So, you know, I was sitting there, but see, in those situations, it was funny because, and there's a reason why I'm bringing us up, because of like the week and things, but this is how your moods can change. So I'm sitting there, and I was determined to stay. I was going to just inch my way through it. And, however it was, obviously the rule of thumb, and we've all been through it, is what lane is going to be shut down? Am I going to be in the good lane or am I going to be in the bad lane? Because a lot of times the information says an accident, but they don't always say which lane it is right away. And then you try to watch up ahead and see if people are moving out of lanes and stuff like that, going, oh, okay, so I got to get over. Nobody was doing it, so we had no idea. But I'm sitting there and I'm calm. It's sometimes things happen. There's reasons for you to get like this, for me to slow down. I just wasn't meant to be home. Hey, good morning, Jeff. Get home right away, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I'm watching this family behind me, and the dad's driving, and I'm like, I was glad that I had sunglasses on. I'm watching up in the mirror, and he is losing his losing mind. I mean, he's pointing on the sides of the road, and he's motioning. Hey, good morning, Donna. He's motioning, and then he's looking over at the mom, the wife, and and he's just motioning her, and he's like doing, gestures, and then you could just see him, and then he's putting his hand down in his face, and I'm dying. I'm ducking below the mirror enough to where I'm dying laughing, because I'm watching this going, is it really worth all that? Is it really making it any better for you to get all upset because you're in traffic? I understand it's Friday. I want to get home too, but it's not going to change the situation. But I just kept watching him, and finally he got so frustrated that he found an opportunity to reroute and go down a different go off on a different road, and sure, he took it and left. But he was peeling out, though. It was hilarious. I'm just like, you got your wife and you got your kid in the back, and I'm like, dude, just relax. There's no reason to get all upset. And so I was just completely, laughing, but was interesting. So I was calm that entire time. I get home, and as soon as I get home, you know, there was a couple other little things that just kind of set me off. And then all of a sudden, I'm like having a rough moment. I'm sitting there upset, and I'm going, what is happening to me? And I'm luckily, everybody was, my wife was still working, and my kids were, in their room, so I didn't see it. But I'm just like, I just had this rage going through me, and I finally, after a couple minutes, of like, what am I doing? I had to then calm myself down. Like, what are you doing? So obviously, you know, being amongst all that, and you can definitely tell the energy and the tension of everybody else's around can change, the mood and things. And so I just ended up, having to take it easy, take a couple deep breaths. Hey, good morning, Carrie Ann. And so that was the way it was. I just had to relax a little bit. Hey, good morning, Tanya. So I just chilled out, and eventually, got control of myself, and just, made the best out of the evening, which even then the evening got even more, the evening got screwed up, but not so much, well, a little bit directed. Well, I was involved in sort of the weirdness, but because of the pandemic and everything like that, we've done a lot where we, try to stay home as much as we can. And so we've had, groceries delivered, and we've had, even, sometimes food delivered. And so last night was kind of one of those things. We had, food delivered. Well, literally 3/4 of our food didn't even show up. I'm like, Wow. Decent, okay day, and then it just kinda, like, went all over the now, I wasn't too upset over it. I mean, it stinks because, now you had to, like, figure out a whole different thing, and, um but it was weird because they only brought one meal out of 3, and it was the weirdest thing. "Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Karen." Um, so yeah, but like I said, I just kind of made it. I shifted everything, and so, but that's why I was kind of asking was, what did everybody notice earlier in the week? Did it have like that where you're in a moment and just everything's kind of changing, and it was okay and stuff. Hey, what's happening, Sean? Good to see you, sir. And I saw Carrie was saying had a weird underwater symptoms. Other than that, doing great. Yeah, yeah, you kinda feel like you're drowning a little bit and just trying to stay afloat. I get that. I totally get that. Thanks, Carrie, for sharing. Um, yeah, so, like I said, Karen, we're not doing that today, okay? I'm sort of kind of in between things, right now and, trying to get my footing because I got a lot of other things, projects and stuff that's going on. Plus, I'm trying to relax, and I'm gonna get to, a little bit in just a moment, of, something else that I mentioned last week, and then it's going to make I'm going to only touch it just briefly, but I want to keep moving on. But uh, so yeah, I mean, like I said, so we obviously know a lot of the full moons always bring new things, and you always getting started, and then obviously we hit into the fall, and what obviously the fall is we're in that change, so uh, it's a good thing. You know what I mean? It's the cycle that we all have to be a part of, and that is a great beautiful thing, and it's one of those things that it's needed, for obviously tons of reasons for that. But I mean, obviously, the Earth has to go through these cycles to, you know, uh, fix itself and change things, and even for us it's important to kind of go through these seasons. I mean, sure, we all would like the most perfect weather all the time, but we need all this, and even just now, well, before I got on the show, I went outside, did my prayers. It was raining, so I made sure I stuck my body out into the rain a little bit just to get a little bit of that that cleanse. And it's cool. As far as the temperatures are cooler, so you can really you notice it. But that's a good thing, And I've always, you guys have heard me say it time and time again of how much I love the rain, and the positive effects you can get from standing in it for a few minutes and just imagining everything kind of washing away, especially if you had a bad week or you're having a rough day, and you can just get out there and you just watch everything fall right off of you, which is fantastic. But um okay, I see you, Margaret. Yeah, Carrie Ann, you definitely got a little bit better down there. Well, Margaret, glad to see that things were okay, but tired. um But, so, like I said, I'm not gonna get, crazy detailed into, everything as far as the astrological things that happened and the natural cycles and stuff, but, so always, be aware of when these things happen. I mean, obviously as we're kids and we grew up, we really didn't pay too much attention. Obviously, us as young kids, we it's the fall time, which, obviously it's not gonna be super hot, but then it's like, you're not gonna be outside as much because everything's maybe too cool or cold, and then you you kind of have that thing where you sort of put an emotion to it, but as kids we just didn't know about it. We all were raised certain ways, and a lot of it we nature, what the seasons truly mean, and what they can do for you personally. We all have to it's important now that we can take that in and use it for our benefit, or use it for time to reflect on things, or um, sorry, my nose was itching there, and uh, use it to our advantage, and just accept it. Okay, gotcha, Margaret. Yeah, but so I definitely, over the years, once I started going more spiritual, and being open, and really paying attention as best I can. Again, I've always talked about I'm terrible with the astrology events, and I usually uh don't even I miss them when they're coming up. So I've always, like I said before, I rely on people that do follow it, and then they gotta give me a little bit. Hey, by the way, this is coming up, or I see it. A lot of times, if you're in certain groups or you like certain pages, you can find them there, like on Facebook and other social media. But uh, it stinks that when I don't realize it, like I knew a full moon was coming, but I didn't know what day it was. So little things like that, you just don't you forget. And I wasn't even paying attention that autumn was on the way. I forgot that it was in the same week, and so it was just little things like that. But I've obviously gone through a lot, over the last month. But um, but I will share real quick that my experiences this week. Now I'm going to use a term that I've never thought I would ever use before because I never thought it was. I've heard others use it, and I've just never been one of those to. Yes, it was Carrie. Yep. And I just didn't. I never thought I would. Again, I never thought I would use this or believe that it was something for me. I always saw others, and I get it how it fit for them, and I just never thought that was me. But anyway, thing is uh, I'm basic. So I talked about I kind of gave you guys a sneak peek at it because I've been trying to, wait. And at the end of last week's show, I brought it up. I talked about I had basically a new guide appear, and there's a lot of interesting things with this. And essentially, the word is upgrade. Now, I know what it is for my work life, but in a way, that's what's happening to me right now is I'm being upgraded. And like I said, it wasn't something I was familiar with that it would be possible for me. Not that I'm like was saying it would something like would never happen. I just maybe have looked at it, from a different term phase, but I am going through upgrades and it's I'm hey, good morning, Dinah. I'm essentially, when I said that there was new things on the way last week when I kind of gave a sneak peek at it, it's no joke. Now I I was trying to debate if I really wanted to, spill uh the entire thing because I did, one of it I was a little nervous about it, and what I may do, and maybe I'll just see what everybody says in the comments, but maybe I'll dedicate next Saturday's show to revealing the entire deal. Uh, I'll I will talk and I will completely share it all because it is to me it's wild to even fathom. And so it it definitely will take because we're 10 to 10. It's definitely going to be it be at least 3/4 of a show. There's no doubt about it because of everything that's from the moment it happened to where I'm at to today. There is a ton of stuff that has been going on, and I'm going to have to truly make a cheat sheet on it because I want to make sure that I get every point because of the way it's processing and what's been happening. So I think that's what I was doing. That's why I thought I'd bring it up because again, I really wanted to make sure I had it put together because if you get a little bit, which like Carrie's saying, don't tease us. Well, that's the thing. There's still stuff I'm still learning. There's still things that are going on. So how if I say something and then more happens, I mean, then there's just like which obviously I could keep bringing it up, when new things happen, but I, it's the whole thing that I really wanted to make sure I had a good enough understanding and a good piece of it to really share. So that way everybody's like, kind of sitting back in your chairs or your beds, and you're just like, whoa. So if obviously I see enough people that are into it and are curious, so I will do that. We will dedicate next Saturday show, which is October. So we've now gotten into that month, but we can dedicate that show, and I'll put that as like the primary, uh, you know, talk. And then obviously you guys can ask any questions you want during it. Uh, but again, I think it's good that I have waited to before I start sharing, because again, I think I've gotten more, and like I said, still even now, I still have got more information, which has been great. But we'll do that. We'll do that, and I will finally review everything. Who knows how many people are going to be like, you know, I'm done. I'm not listening to him anymore, because it's out there. I mean, it's truly out there. But at the same time, I'm just as blown away by it as anybody else, that when you hear it, you're just like, is this a movie? Is this just some fantasy book kind of thing? It's to me, that's in that realm. And so, it's gonna be a big one next week. So hopefully all of you that are here and can make it next week for that. But you'll be able to watch it back. You just I won't see any live. I won't see you, if you catch the show back later Saturday or the weekend or the week after. So, but yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. Hey, good morning, Ron. And so we'll do that. But anyway, but yeah, so some of the upgrades that were happening kind of coexist with what's been going on now over the last 2 weeks. And it's definitely making things differently. There's things that I'm noticing throughout my days, and that the way I'm feeling things, the way I'm seeing things, and I'm talking, it's it's way different than like 4 weeks ago. I mean, there's a lot of little things that have been changing, and it's kind of cool. So, but I will. So we'll do that. We'll get that all set up for next week. So definitely want to stick around for that one, or come back for that one, or at least watch it back, because I think most of you are gonna understand it. Some of you are gonna be like scratching your heads, going, "What?" But I'm not here to you know pull wool over anybody's eyes, or I mean, that's just not me. I'm just not about that. I mean, I want to share what I can. I want to, want everybody to uh, realize there's stuff out there that we all don't know what everything, and we're still learning, and there's still things that I think will blow people's minds, and but at the same time be like, wow, that's kind of cool, and just kind of get you excited to see what else will happen, as for me in this instance. We'll see what else is going to happen as the timeline extends out, and the more the future unfolds. So yeah, it's going to be I'm excited. That's the other thing, is because it just doesn't seem real in a way, but yet it does. So anyway, um I gotta start chugging that. It's getting lukewarm. It's the only bad part about this coffee mug. It's open at the top, whereas my other Bones one, it's more narrow, so it holds the heat in a little bit longer. But oh, because speaking of that, 1 second before I kind of had one major thing I wanted to talk about, and I have to show you guys something. Now, I did not post it on this page, my Medium page, but I did post in my personal. So some of you already saw this, but for those that didn't see my personal page, because I know I don't always accept everybody on my personal page, because that's page I really don't do. I don't talk about this stuff as much. I might share a few things once in a while, but I try to keep the medium page with all the spiritual and metaphysical, the paranormal. I try to keep it all there, because there's just so many people that are not into that, and I like just doing that stuff here. But I wanted to show it live, and I thought it'd be kind of cool. So, like I said, some of you probably already seen it and made some comments, but I got a surprise in the mail yesterday, and I was pretty happy. So, oh, yep, yep, that's right. So, I they still have them. So if you guys are interested, you still can get a copy of one of these if you want. Just like they still have the Indiegogo page. If you guys want to be a part of it, you still can donate. You can, there's other prizes and things like that. And I've posted it on my page. So if you go to my Medium page, you can scroll and find that if you guys want to still, be a part of the movie experience. And again, there's props, and there's t-shirts and other kinds of things like that. So uh this was one of those that I was like, well, yeah, I'm gonna get this. So I was really excited to see this yesterday, and it was a good little surprise when I got home. But very, very cool, very excited. So you guys know that I you know very humbled about it because it was such a great great time, and we can't wait to get this out, and have everybody see it. But if you would like this, because how creepy is that? I mean, it gets better when you see it actually, in the movie. So, and, and Carrie Ann, yeah. Hey, good morning, Dana. So, yeah, really excited. I was really glad to have gotten this, and it's awesome. So, I'll definitely be framing it and putting it up because it was a as I looked at it, it was it's good 4 weeks, almost about 4 full weeks of a month, about a solid month of being on set this year. So it's a significant amount of time, and but well worth it. So, or almost 4 weeks. I think it was like little over 3 weeks, but anyway, yeah, like 3.5, but you get the point. So, but yeah, so, like I said, there's still opportunities. So if you guys are still interested in being a part of it or getting, some of the props and other things, and, even like the DVDs and t-shirts and stuff that are a part of it, you guys can totally get involved with that. So, I can always try to repost that, on my page if you guys are interested in it again. But anyway, little plug for my boys, Christopher and Philip, and it we still gotta keep a smile going for it because it's just so neat. So anyway, so one thing I wanted to bring up, and it's kind of interesting, and I don't know if you guys ever really look at my when I post the show. Hey, good morning, Carolyn. When I post the shows, I try to, include it in my bio. Now, sometimes you got to hit that see more, and because I always try to, if I'm going to hit on a couple of topics or little, things I want to share, I've been putting them in there for, you got to get through the same repetitive beginning, but in the middle of the thing, I always put, what I'm going to try to bring up. And one of them was, and this happened this week, and it was great because, like I said, sometimes I love sometimes I have no idea what I'm going to talk about other than like, what we're going to do next Saturday, but I don't always know. Sometimes really by Thursday or Friday, I have to like look back and say, what was standing out, what was significant, what feels right for me to share or me to comment or ask you all. So, uh, let's see. Yeah. Yes, Ron. Yep. Excuse me. But, I, and this happened this week, and sometimes we are aware of it, sometimes we're not. And I've talked about it before, but I wanted to kind of take a little different angle at it. Was checking on everybody, wellness checks, which is it's kind of a weird word, but we know what that means. And when you notice things like whether you're talking to somebody, whether you're texting somebody, messaging somebody, uh and reading uh things, you know, uh, there's times where you can kind of see what's going on. Now, obviously, reading things can be tough because you read whether it's a text message, whether it was a post, whether it's, um, you know, uh, whether things like that, where it's you don't know what the tone of voice is. It's hard to pick up on what's their true feelings, what's their mood. But sometimes it stands out, especially for me. Sometimes I can see it, and just even like one or two words, you can just totally feel the energy of what they're referring to. And so I had an opportunity where I saw somebody that said something, and it just I knew I needed to reach out, and I did that, and it was a good thing because they were going through a rough moment, and it was neat to, granted, like I said, I'm still in sort of a shutdown mode, but sometimes it just happens naturally where the ability to want to help in any way, any type of support any way I can help, or just know that you're there, it just hits me. And so I just had to reach out and started checking and asking specific questions, and started getting some answers back, and so it just started evolving, and it got to a point where it really helped that person out. And I we all go through stuff, you know what I mean? We all have moments, and we all need that. And I think it's important that when you see things, whether it's you're talking to them on the phone, you can kind of tell, like, the tones, even if they're not telling you what's wrong, or if you're seeing messages, or you're seeing posts and things, and you it sometimes stands out. So it doesn't hurt. You're definitely not gonna hurt, and you don't even have to ask, like, what's going on, why did you say that? And I put it out there that, it's you just go out and reach somebody, talk to somebody. Like I said, sometimes I get these notions for people, like, I haven't talked to some people in a long time, and I did that. I did the also did that with somebody else this week. Just their name hit me out of nowhere, and so I messaged them, and then there was a great conversation back and forth. So it's neat when you kind of get your guides and stuff that give you a little jab and be like, you know what, just reach out to them, or you know what, you really need to reach out to them. That kind of poke. And it was neat was I saw what I saw, and I just like it. I need to reach out to them, and um, see if there's anything I can do, even if it's just somebody that's just going to be there to listen to it. And so uh, it was a special moment. But like I said, it doesn't take much to be aware of things. I mean, like, like I said, we all go through moments. I've had my share, 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. You could see it. Some of my wording wasn't right, and a lot of you caught it. You know what I mean? A lot of you were like, "Are you okay?" Sending you love, and I appreciate it, because it does go a long way. And it is up to that person, like me, to recognize it and be like, okay, yeah, yeah, I can't do this alone. I need I need a little support. And you do it. But like I said, you go through it. But it's one thing to finally, from like my perspective, it's really just to you go, a couple days, and you're still not seeing any shift or any change. Then there's not much you're going to be able to do for yourself anymore. You really got to reach out to, you know, whether it's the whole community, whether it's specific, trusted friends, and just be like, hey, just need to say something. Or even funny thing is you can even hide it in a way, and be like, just talking to somebody, just talking to some of your best friends, and what, or whoever you're closest to. And uh sometimes that's all I would do, is just strike up a conversation. It didn't even necessarily mean I was going to uh explain, or talk about exactly what's going on with me, because sometimes I'm going to hide it anyway. That's just who I am sometimes. I'm still getting better at it, to just let go, and you know share what I need to share, because there might be something that person, or a few people are going to be able to give a point of view at it, or give me some advice, or tell me, hey, you should do this. This, has helped me. And so, you know, I'm always in the mood of trying to help others, and sometimes it's hard to get it back, and it's just a weird trait right now. But it's working. It's not as completely bottled up as like it used to be for me, where I wouldn't say anything to anybody. I would just look miserable, especially people that are really close to me, or see me every day, could see that there's definitely something weird. But like online and stuff, I wouldn't make any hints at anything. I would just hide it and just play it off. So, um, but that's why it's important to, whether you're real close friends with that person or not, and you just see something, it doesn't hurt to just go ahead and send a message. Like I said, you don't have to ask them what's going on, but just start the conversation and see where it goes, because they might end up sharing it, because they might feel so comfortable, that, hey, they reached out, let's just chat. And so and so, it's it's really cool. I mean, it's really cool that when you do kind of you make that effort and give them a moment and they you're just hoping that maybe you can just make it just a little bit better. Doesn't mean it has to be like a night and day difference, but it's just that little bit. And like I said, I mean, we've all seen it, and it doesn't hurt to just send a message or make a phone call and just shoot the breeze, whatever it is, and just get them to talk because sometimes that little bit can change their mood. It can change where they're at. And sometimes, in that situation, you don't, when you're saying, when that person that's going through something, maybe they are saying or they're giving the hints within the stuff that they're either saying or posting or um, messaging. And you, it just doesn't hurt to try to see what's going on. And like I said, you don't have to be the best of friends, but you never know what might happen out of it. You know what I mean? So you, it, it's just kind of one of those things that I think we miss out on. We as humans, we've kind of lost a lot of that where we're not checking on us. And like I said, I'm not going on a weird path right now, but you know, we we all struggles, we all have those things, but it's like we need to check in on everybody. And like I said, that could be a daunting task to sit there and every day and hit everybody in your friend list, So, but I think what's neat is if you see something or notice something, or you just get that feeling. And again, you don't have to be connected to spirit. You don't have to, to be a medium. It's just that gut feeling that just comes out. And it's just like, you know what? Go talk to them real quickly or send them a hi, you know, and just that little bit can make a whole difference in the world. And so, and oh, thanks, Gary. Ann. um, it it's just one of those things. Like I said, it doesn't take much effort. It really doesn't. I mean, you know, we put more on it than we should. I mean, like, what's a simple hi? Hey, how's your day going? Hey, did you have a good week? Hey, I saw that you posted you went to this or you were doing that. How was that? Just those little things to give that moment. But like I said, we all need it. We all can, you know, have that moment where we're just kind of quiet and we just need that ear that's willing to listen to you, or your eye if you want to read it. But you kind of see what I'm saying. And I think, like everybody's been through something like that or noticed people and or maybe you didn't notice it until later on because that happens a lot is where you didn't realize somebody was struggling. And when you look like when it gets to like a really bad point in that person's life, or they just finally, hey, Rochelle. And then when you get like down the road, when they finally look like they're back, like, oh, wow, you look like you're, feeling better. And then they tell you what's going on. You're just like, how did I miss that? I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Cause then you're thinking back, like if you were around them, you saw that their demeanor was different and they weren't, as chatty or they weren't as funny or, whatever, that were you're used to with them. So we really got to change the way we look at each other, and like I said, it sucks that, we have to see a lot of negative things all the time because that's what most of it is. We never get to see so many of the good things. And I've I've done it where just to get the range of emotions, if I see too much negative, videos where, you get fighting and you got all these things, you got people hating on people and stuff. And it's like, I can't take that all the time. You know what I mean? And I don't care what the subject matter is. I'm just saying regardless, it's terrible. And I'll sit there and watch feel good videos just to get that positive, reactions back, even if they're emotional. Like, you love reunion videos and you love things of you see hope or you do see people helping somebody out or saving an animal's fallen and you see people all banding together to help that animal get out. I try to do that to where I'm constantly making sure that I'm seeing positivity out there so that way it makes I don't want to drown in seeing all this horrible stuff that people are doing to each other. And like I said, you know if you need to then do that, balance it out to where you're watching things and that way you're uh, kind of, you know, checking. Oh, I don't even know where I'm going with that right now, but so yeah, see, that's a great, well, and see, that's the thing, you it depends on how you approach it. Like I said, sometimes it's just like, "Hey, how's it going?" You don't have to sit there and always say, "Hey, are you okay? You kind of sounded like things were like falling apart." I mean, you don't even have to hit it that way. You could just reach out and just hit it normal and then see where it goes. So it's not so much being nosy, it's just being a friend, whatever friend you want to be. I mean, just an acquaintance, a friend, best friend, whatever it is. But we, uh, it's just a point of reaching out that changes things huge. Carrie Ann, we as humans we needs not to be so judgmental. Kindness goes a long way. You never know what others are going through under all the shiny behind the shadow. Yep. Yeah. Yep. And that's the thing we need to, pay attention, because you just like I said, we all go through things. We all have it, but it's how you can be available to that person. You know what I mean? Like I said, you might not have the best advice in the world, but sometimes just that connection to where they feel comfortable enough to just talk whatever whatever wants to be talked about. I mean, even if it's just fun things, that's okay. That goes a long way. So, I like that. Yep. I just saw that. Nicole was saying being there for one another is important. Yeah. And it's not, that's the thing, is it's not hard. Even if you are in situations, or where you're near situations that, there's all this negativity and stuff like that. I mean, you can not saying you have to get totally involved, especially if it's like fights, kind of thing. But you can definitely try to get in there a little bit, if depending on the situation, and see what you can do to kind of talk people through it. You know what I mean? And because again, y- regardless of the argue, whether you're arguing or whether you're physically fighting, I mean, where does it all go? It doesn't go anywhere. Nobody's winning. Nobody's, nobody wins in the end. You know what I mean? And like I said, we know enough of like what's been going out there in the world that look how many crazy things are going on. And the doing this a lot, and I don't want to say it, but it just is unbelievable. I'm so sick of that. But that's why, sometimes I just I'll avoid it. Once I start seeing it, I'm out, because it's just not the way it's supposed to be. And so I will make sure to try to go the better route, take the higher road, and just do what we've always been known to do, but we've lost. And now we're trying to bring it back. And I think, there's so many of you that are watching now, and probably some of you that are going to be seeing this later on. You've all have done wondrous for people, each and every single one of you. And like I said, I'm looking at a lot of names right now on the side, and you've all have done something for somebody, and has helped them, has changed, them for the better, because we all know it. We all understand it. And, or at least I should say, we understand it to as much as we can. We might not know the finer details, but we understand enough to be in there. And hey, Carmen, we take everything into our bodies, we digest it, and become whatever we watch, listen to, and eat. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can only handle so much, and then then it brings you down, and then you're horrible. And then everybody's worried about you, and it's like, well, yeah, I absorbed all this negative garbage. So, um, but we all understand it so much that we can all make a difference. And like I said, reach out to people. You get a weird, sensation, like, why does that person keep coming up? Send them a message. Hey, how you doing? I was thinking about you the other day, just wanted to check in. See what happens. Hey, Rodney, good morning. Because you never know. You never know. And the funny part is, sometimes, and there's a lot of people, that this has happened, that are in the chat room. I've sent them a message out of nowhere, or they've sent me one out of nowhere, and be like, yeah, I was thinking of you, today, or whatever. And I'm like, that's weird. I was thinking of you too. How's that? I love that. I love that. You go for it. You go for it, Jeff. So, um, but like that's what's also neat too is sometimes you get a lot of us that are in this sort of same, you know, we got the same energies, we got the same, things that we're into. And it's funny is, and Carrie Ann's putting it, the universe. Yeah, that's the thing is we are connected. We all have a line to each other, and it's interesting when that happens because why? Why did it happen? And there's been times where, when that person, whether they've reached me or if I've reached them, and we're just like, we don't know what it's about, but we just sit there and talk about whatever, is on our minds. And sometimes that's just the point. It's just having that connection, making sure it's still strong between the two of you. Or maybe there's something that will unfold. Maybe there is something that will be they might share a story that it's important for like and I'm gonna point it out because I'm looking at it right now. But Carmen, you know, we'll get we've had it. Carmen and I have had that where we've messaged, and we're like, yeah, I was thinking of you, and then we just start talking about things, and sometimes like there'll be a story maybe one of us will share with each other, and that story, even though it's important to them, but there might be little things within that story that is good for you to understand, or you for your growth. It might be something you don't even realize, or something you didn't even can't even just see it, but it's then what's felt. And I think that's what's kind of cool is that even though you didn't know why the two of you were connecting, why there was, because it was when she's like, well, I was thinking of you, I was thinking of you, but we don't know why. And then that story evolves, and then it's like, oh, but you don't think about it even then. It still takes time because it has to like digest and absorb, and then then you're like, oh, maybe that's why we were talking then. So you know what I mean? Jeff, you freaked me out a couple times with random messages. I get paranoid, like I'm missing some. That's yeah. So Jeff, yeah, same with you, buddy. Are you okay, bud? I mean, I'm a little bit more blunt sometimes when it comes to that because, like, if I really get a warning, or not, and even warnings probably a little too much to say, but I was just like, hey, I was really thinking about you. Everything going cool? Something bothering you? And then you see what happens. I mean, I've done that. I've done that to quite a few people, and it's happened, and that just blows people away when you reach out and they're like, wow, that's weird because and you get that. I always love that, whether they tell you it in person or they tell you it in a minute. It's like, whoa, that's so weird. And I have to laugh over it because, but not obviously when it happens, but I laugh because afterwards it's just like, yeah, it's because we're supposed to be connected. We're supposed to do that, Margaret. Everyone is interwoven on a deeper level and is more pronounced when you're an empath. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So, but yeah, I knew I knew what you meant, Margaret. I said empath. Actually, I didn't say empathy. I did say empath. So, um, but that's sort of something in part of this is why I brought it up, because it happened this week, which was perfect. But I want all of you that are watching this now, or or maybe some of you are watching this back later on, or listening to it was when I you know transfer it to an audio only podcast one for the next week. So like even start today, just start being a little bit more aware of things that are going on. You don't have to sit there and say, hey, tell me somebody that needs me to reach out to. Don't do it like that. But what I'm saying is take today to start opening up to where maybe you're watching people, as far as like your friends and family. See if see if you can see signs, or as the week goes on, open, like I said, you don't have to wake up every day and be like, who can I help? It's not how it's supposed to be. There is a natural tendency to it to just be like, well, that's weird, why am I thinking of that person? That's what you want, is to have them pop out of nowhere, and then just throw them a message, you know what I mean, or call them, whatever whatever it is you feel comfortable doing, and just do that. Just make it, like I said, we all need to change, and we all need to go back to this kind of style. And a better way to do it is just go ahead and start, and reach out to people, see what's going on, see if they, even if it's just to catch up with them. And like I said, I've talked part of this before, where it doesn't hurt to reach out to people, especially ones you haven't talked to in a while, whether it's months or even years. Just reach out. You know what I mean? Like I said, you can make a big difference, but again, you might hit them at the most perfect time when they needed somebody to talk to. So, or just, again, just kind of rekindling that friendship and things. So, that's my goal for all of you right now, is to just sort of do that. Just keep an eye open, be a little bit more aware of things, and s- see what happens. And I love to hear what, whether it's throughout the week, or see if anything did happen. You guys can share it next weekend with me, or you can message me, because I'd love to hear. It's like, you know man, I reached out to this person, and you don't have to give me details, but reached out to this, friend, and I haven't talked to in a while. And oh my gosh, they shared all this information, and because then you're gonna want afterwards, or even during it, you're just gonna start going, you're gonna be a little taken back and shocked, especially if you haven't really explored that as much. And you'll know, and then you'll probably think of this conversation, this show, and you'll be like, wow, yeah, I get what he was saying. So so yeah, I really do. I encourage everybody to try it. And even then, I said the bad word, never try it. Just go do it, and just see what happens. See what happens. Be open, be comfortable with it, and you get a feeling, reach out, and see what happens. Because even then, even if you get a feeling like you need to talk to somebody, and you reach out to them, if they don't want to talk, that's okay. Don't get upset. Like, well, I really felt strong that I really had to talk to them. Yeah, but don't push it. See, the thing is just by you reaching out and saying, "Hey, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while," something to that effect, and they're like, "Oh, I'm busy. I can't talk right now." That's okay. Don't take it any way other than you did your part. However they react, that's completely on them. That has nothing to do with you. You did what you felt, you were called to do, and then that's where it is. So if they never reach back out to you, that's okay. You can't hold that against yourself. And that's critical, because then if you're going to sit there and think about it, then we need to look at you then as to why you're holding on to something when you did what you wanted to do. You already did your part. Now it's up to the other person. So I want to stress that, because that's another thing that happens is we get so caught up, and I've had, people, and I feel bad because I tell people sometimes, like, I may get back to, your messages, and I may not, and it's not on purpose. Sometimes I get busy. I have things going on, a lot. I juggle a lot. I've talked about this before. I juggle so much at times, which is why I'm slowing down a little bit, so I can kind of get this balance thing going again. And but it's never, I never do it for, ill intent. It's just either I'm super busy, or I just really can't at that moment, and so I don't, I used to, it used to bother me. And then I realized, what? It is what it is. If I said I'm busy, it is. And if I can get back to them, I will. And usually I do. Once in a blue moon, I forget. I completely forget because of, sometimes it's a week, but it's rare, but it does happen. So, I mean, but I feel bad. But at the same time, I know that there's a separation there. So if I can't get back to somebody, that is me. If I can't talk to them, that is my thing. It's nothing to do with them, especially if they're asking a question or whatnot. But um, yeah, but just remember that, like I said, if you get that feeling, you reach out and they don't want to talk, or they can't, that's okay. You did everything. That should be completely, you should get that off of you then. That feeling is long gone, you know what I mean? And then it's up to them. And even then, maybe in a few weeks, maybe in a month or two or whatever, if you get that feeling again, then reach back out again and see what happens. But don't go don't freak out too much, if they don't. That's the easy way to put it. So 5 minutes left. I'm trying to think. Um, so yeah, well, like I said, I'll start wrapping up, but hopefully a lot of you will start to be a little bit more aware of that. And like I said, you get a weird feeling, just go for it. You know what I mean? Like, I really need to talk to this person, or I just need, or I need to share this with them. I mean, and maybe it's just a story that you need to share, uh, by all means. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just you feel like you need to say something to that person, you know, I had this happen. You guys know what I'm saying, but just do it. Do it. Be open for it, and see what happens. Because you got to remember, this is going to change you too. For the over, this is going to change the way you look at things and how you go about stuff, and you'll be surprised. Do an extra hour and talk about next week's topic. Yeah, exactly. um, but so yeah, we're right. So we're in. It is October. I just want to double check I think it's the second. Yes, it'll be the second. So October 2nd, next Saturday. It'll be it'll be a good show. So it's going to be interesting to see all the comments on this one, uh, especially from some of you, because I know Jeff's probably going to be one of them that's going to be asking questions left and right. I guarantee it. I can see that about him. He does ask great questions, though. Anytime we're in um, he's when I was on his show, him and Dana's show, they got great questions, and we went to when I went to I don't know last month before. I went to the Togs Toledo, Ohio Ghost Hunter Society was doing a class, paranormal investigating, and they um, Carmen, who is watching too right now, she was doing a presentation, and she really wanted me to come tag along, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I support the whole what they're doing, and so Carmen even had me come up front, and so I'm up front, even though it wasn't my presentation, but Carmen wanted me to come up just to help give another medium's perspective on any questions and things, and so Jeff was doing great. Harold was doing great. Some of the other, the actual students that were taking the class, they had great questions and stuff. And so, um, it's cool stuff. I mean, it's so much fun. So I appreciate the questions and things like that. So that'll be a good time. I know I seen that, Jeff. That is kind of interesting that everybody really liked that. I heard that from I think I saw the live you did last week with Jerry. He was saying he really found that interesting. And I know he's more on this, he's a pretty good skeptic on it, an open skeptic, and like you. And I think yeah, I mean, that's a great topic. I mean, it really is, to really dive into. So, but so yeah, like I said, we're gonna definitely dive into the new things that are going on with me, the upgrading that's currently in process, and we'll see what you guys think of it, and we'll see, uh, you know, we'll see how many of you are going to stick around after that, being like, okay, he's off his rocker, cuckoo's nest type of thing, because I could see that happening, but you know, I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't you know, like if it was, I can tell if something was like really crazy or something, then they'll be like, okay, no. But even I'm being shown things that it's just like, yep, there's no way I'm missing it. So, right. Yep. 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 Yes, Jen. Yes, Jen. So, um, but yeah, so I am pretty much out. So again, we next week's show is going to be pretty mind blowing to most of you, and so hopefully it'll get you excited to make sure you you know are here next weekend, and it'll be interesting because I'm going to run you through the entire thing, especially what anything else that happens this week. So uh, it'll definitely keep your guys' this is attention, I think, and whether you just think I'm really crazy or you're like, whoa, because it's gonna be awesome. So hey, Bria and Dinah, sounds interesting. It will be. Even if you can't watch the live, you'll definitely want to see it back because again, it's really gonna explain some things that, like I said, and then we're gonna just do what we got to do. So, but all right, guys. So I am going to get out of here. I'm going to get the show downloaded so I can do the audio version of the podcast. So watch my page. You guys will see that posted there. So in case you want to listen to this again, you certainly can. Obviously, podcasting, you can just do the audio only. So thank you, Jen. It's true. It's true. I got to say it anyway because it's still fun to say. All right. Yes. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Margaret. You have a great day. So, yeah, I'm out. You guys have an awesome rest of your weekend. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy autumn, fall, however you want to label it as. Obviously, we don't have all the colors changing just yet, but they're on the way. And it's going to be pretty cool. So you might have to be a little bit more aware because I've heard rumors that they might change pretty quickly. They might not last as long. So when they start to change, get in there and really be aware of it. So, oh, thanks, Rochelle. Well, I'm glad you finally made it. Yep. Yeah. Great, Jeff. Thank you. Just don't claim to be the light. I've heard someone do that. So, all right. So thank you guys so much for being here today. And thank you to all those that are either watching this back or listening to the audio podcast version. It was fun. Okay. Thanks, Priya. Yep. Yeah. Sorry, I'm ending. Yeah. This started an hour ago. So you usually go an hour and then move on. But plenty of, you can always check out the pages and see the other shows. And next week will be even more special for me. So you guys will definitely want to be back next Saturday. So I'm out. You guys have a great day. As I already said, thank you so much. You guys have been watching the Mid-Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium, and I will see you during the week through some posts and then especially next Saturday. So you guys take care, and I will see you soon. And as always, all my love, light, and peace to every single one of you.